Welcome to this week's installment of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale with Don Henniger. I'm Don. With me is my podcast partner and Scottsdale's Super Pro, Kevin Maxwell.
You stole me. I was going to say, hey, Super Don.
Ah, you got it, don't you? Super. Well, you know, we have super for a reason today, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Super is the key word today, in case you haven't figured it out. Today, we're going to do our own preparation for Super Bowl 57, which is going to be here in just a couple weeks. With it comes an amazing lineup of activities and events. Lots of it, really the hot stuff is really going on right here in Scottsdale. And we've got two guests today who are right in the middle of it all, and that's Allison Dunaway and Erika Pumphrey. Both were executives with Experience Scottsdale. Both work as Scottsdale's liaison to the Super Bowl host committee. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
You guys are going to be great. I'm just surprised you've been able to take a couple minutes to come talk to us with all the crazy things that have to be going on in your world these days.
Yeah, thank goodness for Botox. You know, it keeps it fresh.
Good. And a nice strong drink now and then, too. Probably keeps things rolling, too. Before we get into all things super, Kevin and I, we're going to talk about a couple of news segments. But today, because the topics are kind of related, we're going to invite both of you to kind of join in as well and have some fun with us on these news segments today. And one of my favorite topics coming up is one of my favorite events of the year, and that's the Barrett-Jackson auto auction coming on. And you know what I like most about that?
What's that?
One, they've had a tremendous year last year with sales through the roof and just an unbelievable performance and sales opportunity last year. But what I like best is not the cars. I like the people watching.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So
that's always
crazy.
the best.
That's what Bronwyn likes, too, the people watching. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's nice to see the cars that are out there, but the people that we draw out there are incredible.
Yeah, from all over the country, all over the world.
Who have you seen out there that you remember?
Well, last year I ran into Danny Zalisco, who's been on our podcast before. Yeah, I ran into Danny Zalisco, had a nice chat with him. He was getting ready to bid on a Lamborghini.
You're kidding.
Yep, and he was bidding on his phone. He was bidding remotely, even though he was at the location for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, you can do that, right?
Yeah. He was. So anyway,
wonder if he got it.
I don't know. I was trying to look.
Or if he still has it.
Yeah, still has it, right?
He's selling it this year.
Yeah. He's back.
So I saw. Who have you seen out there?
Well, I haven't seen, but here's a list of people. I've seen a couple. I'm not going to tell you who, but Brett Michaels, Tim Allen, Renee Zellweger,
Really?
Deandra Hopkins.
You personally have seen all those people there?
I'm not going to tell you.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you who was there.
What's on the list for you?
Bubba Watson.
Oh, okay.
I've seen him. I've seen him in person. I did see Brett Michaels out there. Now, these are people I've seen but didn't necessarily talk to.
Right.
Yeah, but I've seen them. How about you guys? Have you guys seen some celebs out there? Sure.
I believe one year I saw Justin Bieber, right? Didn't he bid on the Batman car or the Batmobile?
I think he did.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Familiar.
Yeah. And that was interesting because, again, it was more us watching him and he was kind of going, just let me buy a car.
Yeah. I'm here in peace. Right? I just want to buy a car. I don't want people looking at me the whole time. Right?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. That's cool.
You know, I like the other thing I like. It's a side up is all the merchants that come out there. There's some really cool artwork and unique stuff, and I like looking at that.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the sales last year, over $200 million in sales in cars in just that 1 week out there. Can you believe that?
Wow.
It's amazing.
It's
I think it's
incredible.
growing and growing, right? It's nuts. Well, that's just one of the events we have coming up here. But kind of related to that is this whole deal on short-term rentals. And that now law is in place.
Yeah.
But it's going to be curious to see how that plays out, because one of the big things you would think with the Super Bowl and all these other events coming here, this is prime time for short-term rentals. But they had a really slow registration in terms of properties that were signing up. I think there's over 5,000 short-term rentals in our city.
Yeah.
And 392 have been approved so far for licenses.
That's not very many. And they had a huge marketing effort, too. They were really getting the word out. If you were a short-term rental, you pretty much knew that you had to go do something. So what's the penalty for not registering, I wonder?
My understanding is $1,000. Is that what you guys know, too? It's $1,000.
That's what we've been hearing.
Yeah.
Even in my own neighborhood, let alone the hospitality world. Yeah.
But that's always been a big conflict between the hotel industry and the short-term rentals and how to play that out. Sometimes you guys are at Experience Scottsdale. We're kind of in the middle of some of that, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And we see it just not with the super season coming up, but truthfully with all the amazing youth events that we welcome at Scottsdale Sports Complex, New Bell 94.
Right.
Families think, well, shoot, we have hotels, but now we have all the, short-term rentals.
Right.
And then obviously with some of the marketing efforts with Verbo, not VRBO, but Verbo at PlayStation. It used to be the PlayStation Fiestival.
Right.
Now Verbo's Fiestival.
That's right.
So that's added, a little bit of highlight to that.
Interesting little angle on that. I hadn't thought about that, right?
Interesting, yeah.
Saw a story today that some of the high-end homes in Glendale, I'm not sure how many high-end homes there are in Glendale, but there are some one is charging $20,000 a night for Super Bowl time.
Wow.
This must be nice.
$20,000.
Have they gotten it yet, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the question.
That's a
Or
great
are they
question.
in the Maldives? That's where I want to know.
Exactly right. There must be some kind of extra benefits going with that, right? Speaking of hotels, the Caesars Republic is opening about a year from now, and they had a big grand sort of preview just about a week ago or so.
Did you go to that?
I did not, but I know some people did.
I
Did
did
you
too.
did
I
you
saw
guys
some
go?
video.
We actually got our own little preview today.
You did?
Speaking of,
Tell us about it.
Well, we got to meet with the director of sales and hear all about the upcoming plans, see the renderings. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful property. We're so excited to welcome them to Old Town Scottsdale.
The renditions look awesome. There's the pool up on the 7th floor, 2 new restaurants coming on there.
Yep.
Both with
Giada.
Yeah, right. You knew somebody that was there, Kevin?
What's that?
You knew somebody that was
I
part of
saw
the preview?
somebody had posted online, some on Twitter, some video of them standing on the 7th floor and panning around the views where it looked amazing.
That's crazy. Isn't
So
it?
yeah.
Well, and the neat part too is they're actually, because they're the non-gaming right version of Caesars, but they're still going to create a sports book
Oh,
in
yeah, they
one
are.
of the
That's
bar
right.
areas.
Yeah.
So
How will they do
again,
that?
there are actual TVs with it.
Oh, they'll have a license then.
You got it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That
so
is
they're
cool.
going to embrace some of it because remember, not only from a group perspective, but they also are part of that bigger Caesars rewards programs.
Right.
So they'll have a lot of people that are familiar with the brand and, vacationing and spending their weekends out here still maybe wanting to, participate in some of the super seasons like what we
that's
have
right.
coming up.
That's right.
Yeah.
The prime location for it. And the cool thing about Caesars, a lot of the Caesars hotels you go to often have their own sort of shopping malls. All you got to do is walk across the street to Fashion Square
Exactly.
to the luxury wing of Fashion Square, and you're right in the same neighborhood. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, no need for the golf cart transportation.
Just kind of walk over there, maybe get a drink on the way over.
That's right.
things are
Exactly.
good.
I didn't have any luck on the Caesars app this year. I was
No?
really bad. Yeah, I was point off here, point off there. I was hoping to have some rewards points enough to go to the new location next year, but
That'd be
whatever.
good.
You have
No
some time.
Maldives for you.
Yeah.
Well, we know the GM. He's been on our podcast, Joe Itori. He's the new GM over there. So we'll have
Is
to
he
get
really?
that. Yeah, we'll have to get him. He left from the Soror Hotel. Now he's
Yep.
the GM at Caesars.
He is,
He is.
Joe?
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
for him.
Yeah. So we had him on our podcast a year ago when he was still at the Sororo. So we'll get him back on a podcast. Maybe we'll see if we can get a first-hand look at the penthouse suite over there or something. Yeah.
They do have a bridal suite, so just saying.
That's about
Their
as
suites are
bad.
2,000 square feet.
I know. I can't wait to see it. That's about as bad as us asking you guys for Super
one
Bowl
room.
tickets.
Yeah.
You don't have any tickets?
My phone number no longer exists.
Yeah, we blow it out. That's right. Well, we're delighted to have both of you here today. You've both been with Experience Scottsdale for a lot of years, and so we know you have a lot of experience at Experience Scottsdale. But Erika, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at Experience Scottsdale, a little bit about your background, and how you got to where you are today.
Well, I know it's a 30-minute show, so keep it short. That's where that Botox kicks in.
Hey, go for it.
Yeah, I started with Experience Scottsdale in August of 2011, prior working within college football, so had some of that background. But specifically with Experience Scottsdale, my job is to be the liaison for the Northeast market. So all those corporate groups you see from financial insurance, pharma, my attempt to get them here, which we're full, so I'm hoping I'm doing a decent enough job.
Sounds like you are.
And then the sports market. So obviously having that college football background, not only with youth sports collegiate, but more importantly with the Super Bowl and larger scale events coming up.
Right.
Yep. So we focus on trying to work with the partners to fill the hotels, and if we need third party sellers like a VRBO or Verbo and Airbnb, but more importantly, just act as a destination advocate, kind of their eyes and ears on the ground, making sure they have our marketing and materials, more importantly, any information for their guests, making sure that we are keeping them in Scottsdale and driving economic impact for the art galleries, for the restaurants, for the hotels.
That's
and
fantastic.
obviously a fabulous place like Scottsdale Fashion Square.
Mm-hmm. How many years were you at the Fiesta Bowl?
Oh, God.
bunch, right?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I want to say 8 total.
Yeah, that's what around that must do. The Fiesta Bowl is one of my favorite, given I went to Penn State, and we've had a pretty good record.
Oh,
track
yeah,
record
you
at Penn
have.
State,
Yeah.
kind of like the Fiesta Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, so that works pretty
I
good.
think they love us too. Not only the weather, but, more importantly, airlift and easy things to do here.
Exactly right, yeah. Allison, same question.
Well, so I'm one of the babies actually on the team at 8.5 years. Kind of hard to imagine that's a baby, but so like Erika, I am the liaison for our Rocky Mountain region. So including Arizona, I'm working with clients out of Utah, Nevada, Idaho, getting them to see the value and also just kind of the great things that Scottsdale can offer. And with it being so close to, some of those places, it's a quick flight. And then another piece that I handle is our services. So I get to work with clients on everything else there is to do in Scottsdale: activities, restaurants, offsite venues, our big events, kind of putting together that whole package for everyone when they come to Scottsdale.
I'm just kind of curious what your challenges are. One, we live in such a destination, and then two, this time of year we've got all these crazy, great big events happening.
Just a few. I
don't want to say that it sells itself, because maybe in one year like this it does, but you have other years too where all these things aren't here. But so, what are some of your challenges that you face in bringing people here? Is it just competition from other markets, or what's that look like?
The biggest thing for us right now, if you put it right now, is just expense, right? We're a very desired destination. Therefore, demand increases cost. So right now it's not always the most affordable, depending on what you're trying to accomplish while here. But the other piece on the opposing side is our, as we would say, warmer months, as one would say, the dry heat that we have.
In July and August.
Exactly. That's a challenge we face, unlike other destinations that may have less, seasons. But the nice part is, again, that's an affordable time to be here.
Right.
As we always say, their meeting room's always 72 degrees. You can have a margarita in the pool. We're not going to judge.
I like it.
Yeah, So, that's right now, that's kind of the largest challenge, is just with groups. We're such a desired destination, finding them the rooms and making sure that their budgets and expectations fit that.
Same thing in your region too, Allison?
It is. And I'd also say there's still that perception of Arizona's just desert. There's nothing here to do. And so just kind of educating people. And it's always funny to me too, because growing up here, I think everyone's been here. Why have you not come to Arizona?
Exactly. And what's wrong with you?
Right. And I'm still meeting people that have never come to Arizona, have never been to Scottsdale. Maybe they've only flown through. So really it's just kind of getting them here. We always say, once we get you here, you'll understand. And it truly is the case.
So I'm curious about, let's fast forward to the Super Bowl year here. How long you guys have been working through the Super Bowl issues, how your life changes in a year when we have the Super Bowl here, what that means to both of your jobs, and what it's like working with the Super Bowl host committee, because I know they can get fairly tangled sometimes when you work with an organization like the NFL and the bureaucracy and the rules and regulations that they all deal with. But talk through what your experience has been like over the past couple of weeks, if not maybe the past couple of months, as you
or years,
or every couple of years, right? As you reach up to the Super Bowl time.
Well, it starts with, us going through the bid process, which I don't think a lot of people, again, see behind the scenes. What an intricate, almost like Tetris puzzle that takes in order to make that happen. And again, what makes, I think, us unique as a state of Arizona, but specifically Maricopa County and the Valley, is the fact that we all pair together. There's not Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe, Mesa, Glendale. It's all of us paired together to make this happen. Sometimes you get in other destinations, let's say a Texas, although Lovely has hosted a myriad of large-scale events. Sometimes you can get some segregation, for example, because similarly, Arlington is a little bit, further out, like Glendale is. Right. It's not in the city center per se, like in Indianapolis or maybe in Atlanta, right, where the stadium's right in the middle of the hub of the city. So that's the first part, is putting all those pieces together and making sure, more importantly, our community wants it. Right. And without question or equivocation, everybody steps up, from when it starts with Bidwell, the host committee, but more importantly, financially, and then the hotels being willing, right, to be able to get creative and be a partner, knowing that, we don't know the demand, if it'll be a great Super Bowl year, if it won't. So it starts with that. And then to your point, the months go by of finding venues, right? Being able to partner and say, okay, where are we going to stick the, Gronk's lovely beach party that he's having over at Talking Stick, or as, a great transition of, us welcoming in historic Old Town, ESPN broadcast. It's all of that goes. And then once those things are placed, then it's almost like the dominoes start falling. Right. Everything starts going into place.
So that's something I didn't know about. Okay, so let me clarify that. So you guys are in Experience Scottsdale from a marketing perspective. Mm-hmm. You're involved from day one when they started, the host committee is formed. They're starting to do a bid. Yep. That makes sense, because I'm thinking I was thinking they would get it and then start engaging with somebody like you guys, but no.
Yeah, the way that we are currently structured is it takes the whole community, not only financially, but more importantly from a support standpoint, to make that happen. A lot of people don't realize that. Again, every city's built different. You go to an LA, that might look different. You go to a New York. Remember when technically the game was in New Jersey, but everybody was kind of staying in New York, right before we hosted last year in 15. Remember, it was in 14. A lot of times there's that segregation, but from us, from the get-go, the host committee has to have our support in order to win the bid. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the bids will go out. I mean, how many years in advance do you know you're going to get the bowl game. So it's at least 3 or 4 years, right? When they do the award.
Yeah. So it starts in 15. And I think if memory serves me, which again, getting older, so that need that ginkgo biloba. But I think we actually were awarded in 18, if I wasn't mistaken. Yep.
So outside of just filling up hotel rooms, there's a lot more logistics that you guys work with in terms of finding places for events. And I was looking at the lineup at Talking Stick. There's like 100 things going on there.
Yeah.
Are you guys in the middle of trying to make all that stuff happen too?
We are. I mean, Erika is really our superstar on the team and point person for all things Super Bowl and NFL. But I've been lucky enough to kind of be that support in the background, to work with the committee on different venue ideas. I mean, they were so great about putting together a great list of venues and getting partners, but really kind of helping them then take clients out to see them and pick the best venues that made sense for the event. So yeah, it's a fun process, but it definitely goes on for a little while.
Well, and the interesting part is we're so lucky as a destination, right? And as a community to always continue welcoming them back. I mean, if you think about it, it's pretty much 8 years, right? Every 8 years we hope that continues, that boilerplate, process continues. The big piece is how they have built it too, the things that they have changed every year. And it's challenged and created great opportunities for our, restaurants, more importantly, venues, and hotels in regards to how they highlight their businesses, not just necessarily the bricks and mortar of welcoming the team, making sure that the guests or the patrons going to the game have hotels. It's like Business Connect, for example. The host committee created this project where they wanted to highlight all the businesses so that way when people came to the game, they knew where to go. They wanted to promote everybody locally. So it's definitely become a little bit more of like a organic and kind of more grassroots in that regard, which has been fun to see because I don't remember it evolving that way in 15.
No, and I think it's been a really great opportunity for the businesses to get even more involved. I mean, it's one thing to have your business be a host, but then to really have that opportunity to get in front of people and be part of the process, I think is really special.
I guess we've learned a lot. We've done this for a couple of times now. This is our 4th Super Bowl, right? Yeah.
It is, number 4.
We've been around the track a little bit on some of this,
What's that mean to be a host? Your business to be a host? What does that mean?
I mean, it depends for different events, but just like Erika mentioned with ESPN being on Main Street. So Main Street in historic Old Town District is the host for the ESPN broadcast. I know of other venues, restaurants per se, that are hosting different events, or like Don, you mentioned Talking Stick and their events, they're a host. So just having that opportunity to have different events and welcome guests to their businesses.
Yeah. And to highlight, especially those like corporations, let's say a Visa or a Gatorade or, somebody who's an official sponsor of the Super Bowl, they always have, dinners that they want to go off. And it gives these businesses an opportunity to kind of diversify that and make sure everybody's kind of being able to, I guess, access the information, but more importantly, that these restaurants that may not have been as busy during that time can really capture some of that business coming in.
I don't know how you keep up with it all. I was looking at the lineup at Talking Stick, Shack Fun House, Sports Illustrated Party, Lee Steinberg Party, Gronk Beach Party, Super Bowl Breakfast.
You're ready for that one, huh, Don? You got your trunks ready. You're ready.
I'm better careful on that one. Maybe a couple Bloody Marys might get me there. How do you keep track? I mean, and that's probably just the tip of the iceberg. So when you look out, not trying to judge one event against another, what do you think are some of the highlight events that people might want to look at this year? Because there's so many to choose from.
Sure. I would say, honestly, it's the ESPN broadcast at Historic Old Town. I really do, because some of the, I guess, renovations that some of the Old Town has done, obviously, and Civic Center's not quite done yet, but I'm glad we got creative and kept it in Old Town. I think that's crucial because, again, like Alleson said, it kind of goes back to people wondering what Scottsdale is. A lot of people go, what is Old Town Scottsdale? What does that mean? Who's there? And the businesses are related because now, they have all these fans not only watching the broadcast, but more importantly, part of it. That's what everybody wants to be part of, is just who's where and what's going on. Right. But for us, I think it's, even though we had the ESPN broadcast, we were lucky enough, Scottsdale was in 15. I think it's even better to have it in Old Town because now we're really showing off,
So who's responsible for that? Because I mean, they could, it wasn't ready. The Civic Center's not quite ready yet. It would have been easy for him to go somewhere else and say, hey, we're going to go set up camp downtown Phoenix or something like that. Who was responsible for keep corralling them in and keeping them in Scottsdale.
Truth of the brains of the matter, City of Scottsdale and Karen Churchard and her
right?
tourism
Is
team.
that right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then a fun fact, Karen was at the Fiesta Bowl for quite some time. She was COO for 20 years.
She was our guest, 3 weeks ago?
We had that.
So no, it's second nature to her to know how to navigate that.
Good for us. A big win for her.
Huge
for us,
win.
for everybody.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I wish we had thanked her for that. I didn't realize she was that instrumental in getting that ESPN
She probably
all-time.
won't take credit for it, but we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll give it to
for
her right
her.
now. Hands down for her right now.
But what an innovative idea to just block off a street and set it downtown, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's not a venue you would think of, right? Yeah.
And ESPN, they also have it as a boilerplate. Not only they do it all the time, but with College Game Day, right? To them, they know what they're looking for.
Right.
They want that area that we can have that fan base. Even the last Super Bowl, we had ESPN2, and it was at the McCormick Scottsdale. They had that.
I remember that. Yeah,
right on the lake there by the Chart House and the McDowell Mountains. So to your point, Kevin, they know what they're looking for, and it's great they had a visionary like Karen to help them pull it out. Yeah.
Well, remember when they were at the Canal Bank too, and the bridge over the Canal Bank?
Yeah.
2 Super Bowls ago.
You got it.
Two times ago.
You got it in 2008.
That was pretty cool too. I love the idea of being an old town though, because what a perfect place to highlight Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah. It's interesting. Even Rolling Stones magazine's going to be having a big party in downtown Scottsdale, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I haven't heard personally the specific details on that, but I heard little rumblings. So I think they're ironing all that out.
So there may be a lot of things going on that even you two don't know about.
Yes, for sure.
That's interesting.
There might be things that pop up that we go, oh, we're not invited to that. Maybe for good reason.
I thought you guys were invited to everything.
Oh, thank goodness we're not, because I'm in bed by 9.
Yeah, right.
No longer a working number.
Well, that's like last time in 2015. Who's the country artist I'm thinking of that's on The Voice? Married to
Blake Shelton?
Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
Blake Shelton was doing a concert, and somebody said, I'm going to the Super Bowl party. I'm going to Blake Shelton concert. I'm like, I didn't. Who's he in?
Yeah.
When's Blake Shelton in town? I'm like, oh, it's a private event.
Yep, they pop
there's
up.
Probably a lot of that stuff going on. Huh?
Absolutely. Well, and I will never forget, while working at the Fiesta Bowl, our offices right there on the waterfront, and there was it just had opened, right? Because we moved the Fiesta Bowl offices from Tempe to Scottsdale, remember, in 2006. And Olive and Ivy was kind of the hot spot. Not that it's not now, but it was really, it was the new spot.
Yep.
And, you saw Kim Kardashian, and they, to your point, Kevin, weren't specific events or anything, but they just popped up. All of a sudden, the celebrities, and you're just being that people watcher,
Exactly.
The peeping Tom going, oh my gosh, that's Nick Lachey. That's, Now I'm aging myself, but yeah.
No, you're not. No, you're still
good.
young pup still. If I had time to kill, I'd go out to the Scottsdale airport and just watch all the celebrities flying in their jets.
You got
See
it.
Go
who's
to the
out there, who's
restaurant
coming
there.
in, and the restaurant there, right? That'd be a perfect place to hang out.
Be a host.
No, that's not a bad idea.
Well, and especially with the movement of this, the big event being obviously around the Open as well. That has created even more of an influx than we anticipated. Yeah. So again, to Kevin's point, probably a lot of celebrity parties or other things happening we're not going to be aware of, because the golfers will probably do something, or the people out here for golf.
It's amazing, all the stuff, all the things that will be going on that we won't know about that people are going to be doing here. So what events are you guys going to go to personally and have fun? Have you chosen some yet for yourselves?
I'll let Allison. She's got the little one, so maybe hers is different. Yeah.
I mean, to be quite honest, I might be hunkering down. So I've not selected any events yet. I will definitely be out of the Open at least one day. I always like to go out there and
that's good.
check things out.
Yeah.
But Super Bowl wise, to be honest, I probably will end up in Old Town. I think that's just such a fun event and fun place to be that we'll probably go there.
Erika?
I say Old Town as well. I mean, I may hit up a coach house, and do some people watching, but Old Town for sure. Just to not only just see the action, but more importantly, support the businesses around it, get everybody excited. And
What about you, Kevin?
I'm going to I have a really super secret party I want to go to, and there's a secret knock that I just learned the other day.
Nice.
It's at Don Henninger's house.
so say at the Maxwell.
It's going to be pretty tough when I go to bed at 9:00 too.
This Club Maxwell, we don't know about.
Yes.
God, I just love this time of the year out here when we have all these things and the spotlights on Arizona. I remember way back when, we're going to go back 30 years or so, when we'd have some of these events out here and we would talk about the Phoenix Open or maybe a bowl game. and how it would be showing the rest of the world how cool Arizona is. We don't really need to show them anymore. They kind of know now, don't they?
Oh, we always like to show off.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Especially when it's sunny in February with no snow.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
They wonder why people pick, Super Bowls and other, large scale events in warm weather destinations.
I know, exactly. Well, the other thing is trying to get on a golf course for the next 6 weeks. If you're a golfer like Kevin and I are, you might get on, but it's going to cost you an arm and leg if you can even get a tee time.
Yeah, right.
That's just how crazy busy everything gets running.
That's going to be best at Top Golf. That's where your golf game
exactly.
will be.
Yeah, I know, right? That's about the element we need right now, right?
Topgolf would be a fun event to go to if they had an event there.
I'll bet they'd be booked too. I'll bet they probably do have events out
Yeah.
there. The question. So where are you going to watch the Super Bowl? Have you figured that out
I
yet?
have not. I just kind of like watching at home because I've been to so many parties and you can't watch the game, you can't hear the commercials, and
Preferred snacks.
Yeah, I want to watch the game and
Have a seat on the couch, not
exactly.
I know, right?
standing.
So the last couple of years I've been at home and it's been kind of nice actually because I've seen every single play.
Yeah, it is pretty
especially
cool.
the Chiefs play. If the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, then I'm definitely
It's his team.
staying
He's the
home.
Chiefs guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
Good. Feel good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've got a good chance. They
Yeah.
do. Yeah. So I went to the Super Bowl back in 95. When it was at Sun Devil Stadium because the Steelers were there.
That's right. And you're
Yeah.
Steelers,
Go
right?
Steelers.
And I was a stand.
Yeah,
stand-up
Steelers,
fan too,
Cowboys,
Allison,
right?
too.
Yep.
It was.
Steelers,
Yeah.
Cowboys.
The Cowboys won. We won't get into that, but
He's not
Sore
hurt.
subject.
He's not yet.
yeah, I still can't get over that one. But what a different atmosphere it was, though. Sun Devil Stadium was still nice, but the ticket prices. I think the tickets cost maybe $200 now. They're what? How many thousands?
I'll just say there's no Groupons available for that. That's what I'll
There's a
say.
few more zeros.
It's a different deal. But I also went to a game. But talk about a Steeler fan. I went to the game. I think it was the next year, but whatever. It might have been the year before, when the Steelers were supposed to beat the Chargers in the AFC Championship game. They didn't. They lost, so they were upset. I had set up an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl in Miami because I figured the Steelers were going to be in it. My dad lived down there at the time, so I bought tickets to the Super Bowl in Miami. Got them through Bill Shover, who used to be at the
Yeah,
Republic. And
absolutely.
he had connections, and so I bought 2 Super Bowl tickets so I could fly back to Florida, take my dad to the Super Bowl in Miami, and watch the Steelers. That all worked out fine except for one thing.
Steelers did good. They showed
There
up.
you go. Yeah, right.
What year was that?
I think it was 94. It was the year before they came out here because the year after that they won.
So that's Ben
Out here.
Roethlisberger years, right? Or no?
No, that was
No,
Neil
that's-
Oh, no,
O'Donnell.
that's Neil O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the Super Bowl that I went to in Miami, I think it was Cincinnati and San Francisco, and San Francisco blew them out. It was like it wasn't even a game after the first quarter. So I'm like,
Oh,
God, this is great.
well, I'm a Seahawks fan, so
You are,
imagine
okay.
seeing that in person in 15.
That's right.
That was super.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
It went along with super season.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Copious amounts of, maybe bourbon were consumed.
Whatever it
There you
takes.
go.
Whatever it takes.
So let me ask you guys a quick question. Bring it back a little bit because we're making it sound like everything's smooth and everything's going great. Surely there were some logistical issues along the way.
Great question.
Did any people, do teams fight over hotels or anything, or restaurants and stuff like that? Tell us some logistical snags that got worked out. But
Sure. I mean, there's always complication because it starts with expectation versus reality. So that's on both sides. And then more importantly, again, making sure that the whole picture fits, right? So to your point, Kevin, the NFL may have an idea, the city may have an idea, but the actual, team or guest may have an idea. So there were challenges in regards to finding the right hotel for the right rate, the right space, because, when we host these types of events, we block off all the space.
Right.
Well, to Don's point and your point earlier, Kevin, we also have a little event called the Open.
Right.
We also have just general, leisure and what they call FIT travel also as well. So trying to fit that mix. So it's trying to keep everybody happy, which hasn't been easy, especially in this year. I think the biggest shock was in a good and in a bad way when the collective bargaining agreement came out and they expanded the NFL, right? Playoff season is what the Open was going to do. So then when the Open moved back, right? Then all of a sudden, the biggest challenge is corporations that had faced challenges, as the destination did for COVID, had pushed back their meetings. So then not only are you dealing with now a week later of NFL games or the Super Bowl itself, but playoffs, then the Open change, and then corporations, and then,
so it's like a kind of a trickle down effect.
yes.
Sort of, huh?
And I have to tell you, it's all kudos to our hospitality community. I cannot tell you how late at night, maybe how many bottles of bourbon or whatever their choice may have been to make that happen. And it wasn't easy. I mean, those poor hoteliers, because it was a hit to them as well. As you guys know, when the pandemic hit, everything went downhill.
Yeah.
And so to be able to try to make up right? You know, some of that lost revenue, and then more importantly, welcome those large scale events and decide who, forgive the term, is maybe takes priority was not easy. And that was a conversation that didn't get done until probably even 6-9 months ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And then from a venue side, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of the same thing. Just it's always interesting because, again, with that perception, people, when they're planning their own events, they're in their mindset of their own events. So even if they are coming to Scottsdale for the Open or for Super Bowl, it's then reminding them, oh, by the way, there's also another big event taking place at the same time. So it was just having those conversations and being upfront with people and really making sure that everyone was on the same page and getting there.
That's great. I never thought about this before, but would it have been better if the Super Bowl and the Phoenix Open or the Waste Management Open weren't on the same weeks?
You know, it probably depends on who you ask, but my opinion is it works either way. We're lucky that we have such a hospitality-driven community, but the idea being that the Open would have been the week before and the Super Bowl the next week would have been ideal, just because then you would have had...
It would have been ideal for you think? Or, I mean, okay, yeah.
2 full weeks.
I think, again, with this specific big event season is because of the pandemic. I think if you take that out, that might create a bit of a different conversation, but because we had corporate groups that also had to move year after year because they weren't comfortable meeting, so they kept asking the hotels to push back their dates. That's where it became, I think, a different conversation.
So are the corporate groups back then?
Oh yeah,
they are.
Yeah, we're busier than ever.
Are you?
Really?
The conventions are coming back.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. Hotels are happy. You know, people are willing and able and excited to be in person. They want destinations that they can still get out and, as Allison said, go do things. What we have found too is that the traveler, even myself, I travel quite a bit for business. They want to take time because they were kind of home. Some people were home for quite some time. If they're coming out, they want to do pre and post stays, which is great for the state and great for the community. But they want to get out and, you know, brilliant things like our city did was add airlift specifically for these big events. So they added more, you know, direct and daily flights. I think 90 of them, if I'm not mistaken, for the upcoming events. So things like that have allowed people to get back here and they've seen the demand. But yeah, corporations and even travelers, even ourselves, we want to get out. And some are still comfortable driving or at least within, but most are flying. Most are excited.
And experiences have become such a big deal. People don't want to just come for a meeting. They want to come and actually experience the destination. And that's something too where in partnership with the city of Scottsdale, we've created Exceptionally Scottsdale experiences with local businesses where, I mean, for example, Museum of the West is one of our partners. And it's not just about going to visit the museum, but you can actually do an additional experience. So that's been really exciting. And that's been a big piece that we've been seeing a lot with conventions.
You know, one of the reasons we keep getting all these events that come here, the Super Bowl, Final Fours, all that stuff is because all of the work that people like you two do behind the scenes to make this a great experience for everybody. That's why they keep coming back. So we can't thank you both enough for all the work that you guys have put into this and all the glamour and all that stuff. You may not go to the parties and go to the games, but you're doing all that hard work leading up to that. And that makes all the difference in terms of all these events coming back year after year. So we thank you both for all that hard work.
Thank you for saying that. But genuinely, our community makes it easy. So
they really do. We're very lucky. I've been saying it for years. Scottsdale makes it very lucky on us and easier on us.
Still takes hard work, and you guys are doing it. So thanks. Kevin, you got any more questions for these guys before we get into analytics?
No more questions, but I got some numbers coming at you.
Let's do it, man.
All right. Get excited.
So
you said earlier, Don, you pointed out this is our 4th Super Bowl, right?
Yep.
And they were in, 96, 08, 15, and now 2023, right?
Sounds right, yeah.
Okay, who was the halftime performer back in 96 when you went to the Super Bowl? Do you remember? You were there.
Was it Whitney Houston?
You were there. Nope.
No, hang on.
Close.
Somebody like that. I'm close.
Oh, I think Erika knows.
I think,
She does know.
I knew Whitney sang the national anthem, though, if I'm not mistaken.
That was in Tampa. That was in Tampa.
Was in Tampa? Okay.
That was in Tampa.
Wasn't Diana Ross?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. There you go.
Okay.
I just whispered it, but may have said it.
Not that I cared about the halftime show. I got the Steelers playing. I don't care about the halftime show. But I do remember Diana Ross.
There you go.
That's what they kind of lowered it in from above. Remember she came down?
On
a helicopter?
You got it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was kind of cool.
Okay, 08, who was the halftime show?
Oh, boy, I'm going to be out of it now. Because I didn't go to that one.
Oh, that is a good one.
Do you guys know? No.
I'm trying to think.
I'll give you a
I knew
hint.
who 15 was.
He's passed away.
Oh, Prince.
Was
it Michael
Prince?
Jackson?
Was it Prince?
No, it wasn't Prince. No.
That was
We're going to be really sad we missed that one.
I know, right. Give me a second. What kind of music?
Well, pop rock.
Pop rock? Okay.
Pop rock.
And not only pop, but more rock. But
who's died in the pop scene that would have been a Super Bowl performer?
He was in the Traveling Wilburys also.
Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. Petty.
Tom Petty. That's right.
Yeah.
Tom
That's a
Petty.
good one.
Yeah.
My son loves
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
That's
Traveling-
impressive,
And
Allison.
then Erika mentioned 08. We all remember who that was because left shark, right? Was it left shark or right shark? It was the famous
That shark thing? Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Yes,
remember that?
that's right. I mean, brilliant, but yet odd.
Yeah.
That was way odd, way crazy.
I forgot about that. You're right.
The sharks.
All right, here's some more numbers for you. In '96, a 30-second TV commercial on network air cost $3 million.
Okay.
Now, here's what's interesting. In 08, 30-second commercial, $2.7 million.
Went down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Recession.
Recession.
Oh, that's right.
Makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There, that's good. Yeah.
15, 30-second commercial, $4.5 million.
Back up.
So I don't know what's going to be this year, but a lot,
It's going to be
probably.
a ton, right?
And then last numbers here for you. In '96, economic impact of $305.8 million.
Okay.
In 08, 500.6, $500 million.
Yeah.
And in 15, 719 million in economic impact.
Jeez. Just keeps
Isn't that
adding up,
amazing?
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard time putting my hands around what that really means, but boy, the domino effect from all that good publicity and people
All
coming
that
back
marketing.
and all that
Yeah.
marketing.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
These guys have a hand in that.
Oh, they have a big hand in that. Good numbers, Kevin.
Yep.
Good work to both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, pats on the back, high fives, all the rest of that, and trophies to come. We'll get the Scottsdale's podcast trophy to both of you soon.
All right. Is it a microphone or?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Cool. Well, thanks, Erika. Thanks, Allison. Thanks for all the work you've been doing leading up to Super Bowl 57. Thanks to all of you, too, for listening. We look forward to being back with you again for our next edition of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale.